Hi, I'm Annika Johnson from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go! Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Door County Girl. Today I'm here with my friend Charlie Henriksen, and they are having their grand opening for Henriksen Fisheries' new little retail spot here. So we don't have a lot of time, but I want Charlie to talk about how they got here and how they decided to open up this business up here. It's a super easy in, easy out, right on the highway.
Well, we've been fishing for a long time, and we supply a lot of restaurants with fresh whitefish for fillets and fish boil chunks, and never really were interested in doing retail. And then one thing led to another during the COVID outbreak, and Will's fiance at the time, now his wife, decided to start making fish products and rent a little storefront in Ellison Bay. Well, it seemed like the perfect time to combine both of these on this property that we had bought several years ago, and here we are.
This is awesome. And I know that Christy you're talking about is
Right.
Will's wife,
Right.
and she's a little mastermind of getting everything packaged up and saying, hey, we need to sell our product, put our
Yes.
name on it.
Yes.
Sounds familiar because we had to go through the same thing at Al's. We hired Kit to come in, and Kit Boots did it all. But
Right.
now you have a Christy that's a Kit Boots.
She's a
And
booster.
we were
Yeah.
in the shipping office, and she came in one day and she brought in 2 samples. You had a whitefish dip, and then you had another kind of whitefish dip, and Kit and I ate the whole thing like in 2 seconds.
Right,
And it was
right.
fabulous. And then you were trying to get into the Piggly Wiggly and some of the grocery stores. But then you opened up the place down in Ellison Bay and had that. Is that still open?
No, that we were renting that from Island Orchard Cider. So all I can say is a business incubator, that's quite a place, because that's where Kick Ash started, and that's where we've started, and we both moved on to fairly substantial operations out of that place. So.
Okay, so how are you going to tell me, how did you get here? How did you get this spot, and why did you choose here?
Well, this is part of the old Larson Orchard property, and Mrs. Larson still owns some lots here, and they were zoned light industrial, which allows commercial fishing operations. There was a little glitch that it didn't also allow retail. You can do anything you want in light industrial, but you can't do retail.
Okay.
It's crazy. But anyway, we then went to the county, and they told us about a program they were doing with Renard's Cheese down on County S. And what they're doing there is they wanted to keep their agricultural zoning, but they wanted to fix up their store and put in a little restaurant. So they split their zoning right in the middle of their building. And we went, wow, that's pretty amazing. So we started looking at the county records and saw how it was done. So we submitted that, and we actually have the same thing. This side of the property is mixed-use commercial, and this side is light industrial. So we have the best of both worlds here.
So you've already had this building for a while that you used for storage.
Right.
And then you told me a tidbit that I didn't even know, that you had your operation for 30 years out there at the old sherry plant out on Old
did.
Stage.
Yeah, Door Country Storage.
Yeah, and
yeah.
you said you like to fly low on the radar, so you
Yeah,
didn't want anyone to know you were there.
We were completely under the radar. Of course, restaurant people knew who we were.
Of course.
But we didn't have a presence, and then Christy changed all that. So.
Does she have to twist your rubber arms?
No. We liked what was happening, and Will, of course, would do anything for Christy, and she had some great ideas and has created some wonderful products. So,
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of changed our focus. Though we still do a lot of wholesaling, but our retail store is becoming successful too.
Okay.
So,
And then this place behind you, did you just build this last year?
we just built that. We broke ground on this building in November of 22, and we were in here the last weekend in June of 23. So pretty fast turnaround to get it built. Yeah. And the contractors that we're thanking today as part of our open house were amazing, and we're very proud that we did it all with local contractors.
Sure.
You know, I think the furthest anyone came is some of the refrigeration came from Green Bay, but otherwise it's all local guys and people we know, which kind of helped. You know, we could lean on them a little bit, like, hey,
yeah, hey guys,
we need some.
Yeah,
so,
we want to open up.
Yeah, you know, people did great things for us here. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share that we don't know about here, or are you working in the store?
I doubt there isn't much that you don't know, Annika. But
those are secrets.
But
those are secrets.
Yeah. No, I don't work in the store, and in fact, I'm on the edge of kind of phasing out of the business. We have some H-2B visa workers who are working on a boat and in the processing plant. And,
I know, I was just asking about that. I said, where are these guys from? And you said where the El Salvador.
Salvador.
And they're fishermen.
They were fishermen in Salvador. They walked in here and knew how to process fish. You know, there's certain things we do different, but
they probably love it up here.
They are loving it. Yeah. You know, we're paying them well, and they're just amazingly happy guys.
Housing's
really
not a problem?
Well, we rented an apartment last February hoping we were going to get the visas, and so they live right next to me in Sister Bay. So it's
that's awesome.
Very nice. Yeah.
Well, I know this is just kind of a short interview because we have to meet up with Will, your son, next, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about this whole business.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited about it. It's my friend Mindy's birthday, and I'm going to go in and buy her a gift certificate for her birthday today. She'll come shopping here.
I heard she was having a big birthday today.
I know she's a big meat eater, but she's going to have to eat some fish now.
She got a big round number in her birthday
6-0, big 6-0.
Well, happy birthday, Mindy.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I love your place. I just walked around in there, and they even have dog products in there. I saw a birthday cake for Jolene.
Well, you know, the dog products is what Christy started. She was working as a bartender and was making these dog treats and selling them at farmers markets. So when COVID hit, the bars were shut down and she wasn't real comfortable being in one. So she was looking for something to do. So we started selling or making available whitefish fillets, and she did all of it on social media that spring, and we just put bags out like the farm stands and said, you know, just tell us how many fillets you want, we'll put them in a bag. There's a box there. If you can pay for them, great. If you can't, we don't care. You know, we want people to eat. So it was our little prodding there with COVID. But then what happened is then she went to the farmer's market and they told her that she couldn't sell her dog treats.
Wow.
Because dog treats weren't essential. You know, remember, it's hard to believe. Hard to believe how crazy the COVID stuff was.
Yeah.
But so I offhand said, you know, well, you've got all these people lining up to get fillets from us. Why don't you sell fillets at the farmers market? And it just blew up from there. And the next year she's got her store and.
You're going to do so well here. I can just have a feeling.
Yeah,
I just live right down the road. I can hop on my bike and just ride down here and grab myself a little whitefish fillet and cook it up.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to a fish boil.
Yeah, well, you know how well these roadside stands do.
Yeah. Well, my friend, we got to be ending this because my friends are going, we could talk all day.
They're getting hungry. All right. Thank you.
I love you and I wish you really good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you ever need any help.
You gonna come in and help us?
Oh yeah, come and ask me for help. I'll help you.
There you go. So John knows my daughter Ellie. You do too. So Ellie now lived in Seattle. Now she lives in Denmark, and we did some stuff. And anyway, all our properties in a trust. And I explained to her it was split different. You know, it wouldn't be fair to Will to have to buy the business from her.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, thanks, Dad." I didn't want to have to come home and cut fish.
I'll cut fish. Okay, guys, well, Will Henriksen is coming in right now to let us know some more good news about Henriksen Fish House. And I'm going to let Will take it away because I'm curious myself. So your dad and I just met a little bit, and we talked about kind of how he got here and like 5 or 10 minutes about that kind of stuff. But how did you get involved with this? Like, was it your vision or his vision, or Christy saying to you two, we got to do this?
So this, like a new facility has been in conversation for probably the last 6 to 8 years. This property was bought with that in mind, and possibly eventually a retail store, but that wasn't our vision. It was just a processing facility, because where we had been, the owner had passed away and we weren't sure what was going to happen, so we started planning ahead. And then when COVID hit, all the restaurants shut down. We didn't have anywhere to really go with our fish, but people needed to eat. Mm-hmm. So we started doing our own pop-up market.
Your dad talked a little bit about it. He said something about you bring the fillets and whether they had money or not. Either way, they could sell some or they could just give some to someone who needed some food.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure our community was able to still, eat. Yeah. So we did it that way. And then once things started opening back up, Christy had been going to the farmers markets with her dog treats. And then they started telling her that she couldn't because they weren't essential.
Wasn't essential.
So she's like, well, I want to find a way. So we started selling our whitefish there, and people loved it. And then me and her kind of on our own went and looked at our our first shop in Ellison Bay, at where the old Kick Ash was, and they didn't have a contact for us, so they ended up calling my dad about it, and that's how he found out. He went and looked. He goes, okay, let's do it. And then we just essentially grew out of that space, and this kind of leap yeared 4 years in advance, and we decided to start building.
Wow, this is such a good story because you're a little shaver, and not many people know this, but Will's a really good baseball player. Always was. My son thought you were like the king of baseball, and you're a fisherman, and you do your fish business, and like we do pancakes, you do fish, and he didn't believe me when I told him that you guys were fishermen. I'd say he fishes for a living, and Bo's like, no, he doesn't, Mom, he plays baseball. I'm just like, no, but he's a fisherman. But anyway, getting back to this, so what was your vision then? Christy came along, and she came up to see Kit and I once, and I said to your dad, it was so delicious, Kit and I woofed down the dip right away. Yeah. And he was giving her some pointers and some tips, but I see you have all kinds of products now. How did you guys narrow down the products? Like, what did you want here?
I mean, our personal products, like we started with the 2 different kinds of spread, and even those, it was a couple family friends and family members that we got fish for, and we're like, we're trying to figure out the best way to do it without using smoked fish. Yeah. And different seasonings, ingredients, this and that, and so we all, like, people made them, and we taste tested them, and then we kind of just picked different things out of each one and created what we have now. And then with like the fish cakes, Christy was kind of the mastermind behind all of it. She just kind of started playing with a couple different things and took the same fish and seasoning we use for our spreads and replaced, essentially crab meat in the recipe with whitefish, and she's selling them, essentially like hotcakes.
It's like crab cake or like whitefish hotcakes, yeah. Today's your grand opening.
It is.
What are going to be your hours? Like, when are you open, and are you open year round, or?
Right now, our store hours are Tuesday through Thursday, 11 to 5.
Okay.
And then Friday and Saturday we're open 10 to 5.
10 to 5. So this is a perfect location too, because you're right on the highway, but it's easy in, easy out. And you have a lot of parking. You could do events here.
And so we originally had talked about possibly doing like a dusk market on Thursdays. We weren't sure if we were going to do anything this year, just with getting, you know, everything open and making sure we're running smoothly. But we've partnered with Sergio's food truck, and
which is great, yeah.
And that was kind of the reasoning, you know, get people here in the evenings, and we'd have some of our other, you know, local vendor friends come and sell some of their stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Well, is there anything else that you want to add? Did you ever think this is what you would be doing in your future? Did you want something like this when you were younger, or did you just kind of trip upon it because Christy is
when I was younger, not so much, but kind of end of high school, beginning of, you know, my college years, I kind of realized it was. Mm-hmm. I left, went to college, enjoyed it. I mean, as Bo says, I essentially went to play baseball.
Of course.
And it didn't work out, and I didn't know what else I wanted to do. So I decided to, I'm like, I've got a year-round full-time job, you know, family business that I can go home that I enjoy. Mm-hmm. And so I called my dad up and I'm like, I'm canceling my transfer, and because I was offered to go play somewhere else for baseball. I'm like, I'm canceling it. I'm going to come home and I'll want to take over the business. And
I bet he was kind of happy.
He was, and it's just kind of, you know, snowballed from there. And a few years later, we bought this and kind of just started slowly expanding to what we are today.
It's awesome. I love it. He's probably so proud of you. He told me he wants to retire and let you guys take over everything so he can just kind of sit back and relax a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, he's put in his time and he deserves that, but at the same time, I mean, it's great having him around.
Oh, sure. He'll be
And there isn't a day I don't think I don't learn something new from him still, so.
Yeah, like with me working with my dad, you learn all the time working with them all the time. But it's nice to have them lingering around when they're not in it, because they can still give you pointers and tips and show you what you're doing wrong, or kind of fix something, or tell you, hey, you know, this is wrong or this is right. So yeah. Anything else you want to say about this place, or what you want to tell people about this place? Because I'm excited about it.
Not off the top of my head. I'm sure Christy will.
What's your most favorite thing in here that you would come here and say, well, this is what I would buy? If you were a first timer here, what would you buy?
So Door County Chocolate Design has both milk and dark chocolate fish.
It's not fish.
Well,
I've had their chocolates. They're really good.
But they have little fish.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to have to go check it out. So. But what about a fish item? Like if you were going to come in here and you were saying, I'm going to go to Henriksen's Fish House, and what do I want to buy that's like your trademark that you would say you can't go wrong?
I mean, our fillets, I mean, especially, you know, buying them in-house here, they're almost 100% of the time caught day of, you know, so when you come in that morning, that fish was swimming. Mm-hmm. I mean, so they're as fresh as you can get.
It's awesome.
So.
Well, we don't have a lot of time because I have a million questions and we can't talk all day, and I know you love to talk. Yeah. But anyway, we're going to talk to Christy next, and then we're going to find out some more information about your place, but I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, so are we, and we're happy you came.
Oh, I'm glad to do it. I'm always a food sampler. I love that kind of stuff, so. Well, anyway,
don't take too long with Christy, or you're not going to get any.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, well, we're going to wait for Christy then.
All righty.
Excellent. Okay, so we're here with Christy now, and a lot of people aren't going to understand who Christy is. So I've known Will and Charlie forever, and Will is a good catch, by the way. I always thought he was a little cutie. I was like, only 30 years younger.
Agree, 100%.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great.
And anyhow, I would love for you to tell everybody who you are, where you came from. How did you get here?
Long story, but long story short, I'm originally from Superior, Wisconsin, and I went to school at GB, and I came up to Door County and lived and loved, and then I moved to Maine and worked at a ski resort, and I was a ski bum. And it was awesome, and I love Maine, and hope to get back sooner than later. But I would come to visit Door County and Superior, and every time that I left, I honestly would cry like the whole flight or the whole drive, and I just knew I had to get closer to home and to family. And somebody once said that you live where you vacation, and you vacation where you should live, and that stuck to me. So I honestly packed up my bags within a couple months, put my couple weeks notice in, and had a great job, great place. And I came here, and I was just kind of getting settled, and was working at JJ's, and just kind of finding my groove into Door County once again. And the story goes that we told at our wedding, went down to Husby's, just a tired bartender, just wanting to have maybe a shot and a beer at the garage, and I asked this tall gentleman if he was sitting at the bar stool, and he said, "Nope, it's all yours." I sat down, and I had my back to my friend, and I'm like, and I'm like, "Who's that tall drink of water?"
Yeah.
And honestly, we just hung out the rest of the night, and he told me who he was and what he did. And I was just enamored as far as his work and what he did. It was just so intriguing and so amazing, and I honestly fell in love with him right away. It was a no-brainer. But later in the night, continued, and I kind of got lost in the crowd a little bit, and I looked over and I saw this tall gentleman, just good looking, and I said, "What are you doing up so?" I go, "What are you doing up so late? You got to get up early." He goes, "Well, you told me I couldn't leave until you gave me my number." Oh. And I'm like, "Oh. Okay, here you go. Now get going, because you got to get up early."
Oh, you should have said in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So we just kind of fell in love, and the rest is history. Got married on the Edith Becker.
Which is a boat, everyone. Yeah.
Yes, a beautiful sailboat, and had a party boat next to us, and we just had our 2-year anniversary. So
yeah, I saw your wedding pictures. They were awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty incredible.
That's cool.
So it was pretty special, and
it's the whole thing. It
was a fairy tale, and I feel like it is, and I feel like the universe kind of directs you sometimes where to go, and I think it definitely pushed me back to Door County.
Okay.
Met the love of my life.
Well, then you met the love of your life, and happened to be a fisherman.
Yes, I know. How lucky am I?
And his dad, who was a fisherman, you were the mastermind behind getting their fish out there more. So we had the same problem when we worked at Al's. Yeah, we made meatballs, we make pancakes, we have lingonberries, but we didn't know how to put it out there. So Kit came along, Kit Boots, and then I remember you coming in and saying, "Hey, I have these 2 whitefish dips, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this already." Of course, Kit and I ate it down in 2 seconds, and they were both fabulous. And then your vision was to what?
Well, and I'm sure they kind of dabbled in this. So, COVID or 2020 hit, and it was March, and I was selling all natural dog treats, and we were trying to figure out like what the next step was. They still had nets in the water, they were still fishing, restaurants were shut down, and we're like, what do we do primarily with the fish? And I said, well, why don't we just get it out to the public directly, because people aren't going out to dinner because the restaurants are closed and things like that. And so it was March, so it was still cool. I did a pre-sale because I was pretty active on social media because of my dog treats. We did a pre-order sale type thing on Facebook and social media, and just pre-orders, and we, contactless, money in honor system, money in a box, and come get it. And for those that weren't able to, provide for their family, we wanted to give the opportunity for them to do so, and said, we'd be happy to donate it. And then, this community, of course, is awesome, and people would pay it forward above and beyond. So we donated, people paid it forward, and it was just this flatbed truck because it was March and cool, and it was pretty cool. Just again, how the community came together. So that's where it started. And then the farmers markets, things started opening up. We did maybe 3 or 4 sales, and my dog treats were deemed non-essential. So I again am kind of out of a job, and I said, well, why don't I start slinging fish at markets? So there we went. So started slinging fish at the farmers markets, and we wanted to bring more products. So then we started creating the spreads with help with family members and friends, and we, you know, because it was still, you know, we were still, you know, socially separated at that point, so we were just passing the spread around. What do you think? A little bit more of this, a little bit less of that, and we came up with this amazing product, and started bringing that to the markets as well. And then the cakes were the next step, and that was actually my recipe that
And when she says cakes, she's not talking about crab cakes. She's talking about whitefish cakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a shrimp crab cake recipe that I had, and I said I kind of just messed around with a little bit, and I'm like, I can do this with whitefish, and added, took away, and
Sure.
and came up with the final product. So that was the next endeavor.
I bet people love them.
They're good, and no additives, no preservatives. All the veggies are hand cut, so you know, not just mixed in a blender or anything. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of mom and popsish. I love
yeah,
it. Yeah. So what is your vision for this place? We talked a lot about how it happened and where you were before and whatever. Will's sort of quiet, Charlie's kind of quiet, and you're the go-getter.
I'm the not quiet.
Well, but that's good for them because they need someone that's like their spokesperson that can get it all done. They have worker bees, and then you have people who are good at what they do.
Yeah.
They fish, you put it out there.
Yeah.
So what's your vision?
Well,
Like, what do you want people to know about this place?
It just, I mean, again, and I've said this, you know, this before, it's just that place would be nothing without, you know, the fishermen, you know. So they were the groundbreakers that, you know, led us to this. And Will and Charlie did have a vision of doing retail, but I'm assuming it probably wasn't this retail.
Right.
It was more of just, you know, selling the fish directly to the public, maybe a few products, and that was down the line. And I just kind of had a vision of, I just wanted to bring something to, you know, the community, and I say a lot of the things that we wholesale in the shop, they're either, you know, local, small business, eco-friendly, sustainability, a lot of like-minded philosophies that we have, and I tell folks that they don't have to check all the boxes, but they at least have to check one. So I'll be local or small business or whatnot. So we have this, you know, just incredible products. Fish and More Shop is what I've kind of been hashtagging it, because it is our amazing signature whitefish fillets, our cakes, our spread. Then we started wholesaling some seafood. We have a great collaboration with Bearcats down in Green Bay. So they take our whitefish fillets and things like that, and we in turn sell their seafood. So that's an incredible thing up this way that, you know, is just not, you know, not easy to come by.
Right, like I can come in here and get some ahi tuna and go take it home and cook it up.
Yeah,
instead of going to a restaurant and ordering it.
Exactly.
I can say, oh my God, they have it up here.
And people want that option too. Because as much as I love to go out for a restaurant, and we do, and and it is also nice to just sit at home and just relax.
And at least it's available.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an option.
So I just like a little bit of everything. And again, it's the Fish and More Shop. So we have all of that, and then we wholesale cultured bread items on Thursdays. Sometimes Fridays. We started bringing Cool Climate Farms organic produce, and then just pit packs, candles, just a little bit of everything. So one-stop Fish and More Shop.
Yeah, it's another shop to come to in Door County, even if you're not looking for fish, because they have really cool things in there.
Yeah,
I've seen them.
Great gifts.
Yeah,
so that's kind of
if you're not a fisherman, you'll know someone who's a fisherman. You guys have great shirts and hats and kind of cool stuff for Door County too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you're a really good addition to the Henriksen family.
I feel very fortunate to
I think that he probably thinks that he hit the jackpot when he met you instead of vice versa.
I feel like I hit the jackpot for sure, not just with him, but his whole family. I feel very fortunate to be a part of this journey.
Well, that's so awesome. I'm so happy for you guys. This is great. I'm just so happy.
We're excited.
Well, everybody come and visit this beautiful Henriksen Fish House. It's right off of 42 between Ellison Bay and Sister Bay. You can't miss it. And come and visit Christy because she'll be here cooking and working.
Well, with a whole bunch of help as well.
Yeah.
So it takes. Yeah,
it's good to have a mom and pop's place because you actually get to meet the owners and everything too, and ask them questions.
Yeah. Well, everybody that works with us and for us, we're all family.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
feels
it.
like that. Well, you know.
Yeah, I know. I just said to Charlie, let me know if you need any help. You guys run short. I'll come over here. I'll just live right down the road.
I would love it.
I'll come and run the cash register for you.
Would love nothing more.
Anyway, well, thanks for watching another edition of Door County Girl, and it's probably one of my favorite ones.
Aww.
I watched Will grow up, and it's nice to see him so happy, and everybody's so happy, and and this is so great in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So don't forget to like and subscribe at the bottom of the page, everyone. See you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.